to another episode of the Bestie Advice. Hey, bestie.
Hey.
This is a special episode as we are going to be reviewing The Best Man final chapters, which is currently airing on Peacock if you have Peacock. And so
Yes.
all of us have some really strong opinions. We think you're going to enjoy this review. We're going to review the entire series. So get you some popcorn, get you a snack. I got my coffee. As you can see, we got our good girlfriends back with us. We love having them. We have our favorite little sisters, Dr. Stephanie Jones. Hey, girl. How you doing?
Hi.
We're so excited that she's able to join us. And then we have our newly engaged bestie, Tawana. Girl, he put a ring on it, girl. We had to have a separate podcast. We got to get all the tea. We got to get all the tea and the coffee. We want it all. So we're so excited to have you, Tawana. Thank you so much.
Yes,
and
yes.
We have our bestie, our co-host, Lady Kiran Hayes. Hey, Kiran.
Hey, and hey, besties.
So we are so excited about this. I will try to refrain from all of my opinions because I'm extremely opinionated. And I want to hear what our two besties, Stephanie and Tawana, has to say. But let's just key this up. What did y'all overall think? I want to break it down when we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of this series. And so I know we talked a little bit before we started recording. And if you haven't, we really suggest you go back and watch the first two movies. It will help you, I think, get reacquainted with the characters. I've been very vocal in saying at one point I had to stop and go back and watch because I had to remember that Taye Diggs, Harper, is the best man. Yes. And all of this is around him. And in some way, somehow I started getting confused. But what did you think, Kiran, overall was the good? If you was to say the good, what did you think was the good?
The good. It's a lot of good things that actually came out of this, I guess you can say. In regards to, I guess, pinpointing one good thing, which, I guess people may have their own opinion about it, as far as the relationship between Shelby and I know Quentin. It's not who?
Quentin.
I was about to say Terrence Howard.
Well, just say Lucius. It's Lucius.
Between Shelby.
All I saw was Lucius.
Right. Between Shelby and Quentin. Yes, the beginning it was toxic. As far as toxic, in some of the other episodes, they like no relationship at all. They're always talking about each other, always bashing each other. But underneath all of that, they actually loved each other, and that actually flourished in this series. Not so much episode 1 and 2, more like 3 through 8. He loves her, she loves him. They have each other's back. So just watching that relationship flourish, that was one of the best parts of the series. That's just me.
Yeah. They were almost like the most stable and anchoring couple, and
yes.
They were the most toxic. But I just loved how that turned around for them.
Yes. Even the relationship, he finding out that her daughter actually is his daughter, and he already had a relationship with her or whatever, but that was Uncle Quentin. Now it's daddy or whatever. So yeah, I just like to I love to see how that had unwrapped and unraveled itself. So that was one of the good things for me. One of the highlights.
That's good. What about you, Stephanie? What did you think if we looked at the series as a whole, would be the good?
I think as a whole, I like the realistic progression of the characters, that they are going through real life situations with their children and their careers, in society in general, like they were dealing with real things, that they weren't stagnant. So it wasn't a lot of, while it was a lot of reminiscing, it really showed them now. So if somebody were to come into this series without watching the movies, even though you should watch the movies again first, they wouldn't necessarily need a lot of background. Like, you are picking up on characters who have a story right now. I also like that it highlighted the children too, because when you progress as an adult with a family, the people in your family also progress. So to show the growth of the families as well, I think that was the best part of the series.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, Tawana?
Yeah, I like the real life situations as well, the work-life balance, the single life, the married life, the children, just all of the real life situations. So to piggyback off what Cameron was saying about Shelby and Quentin's relationship, it was one of the most organic, real relationships. I mean, like, his character is just straight up and down, just real. And I just felt like he was so natural, and their connection was so natural and so organic. So that was one of the good parts of it to me. And then just the reality of it, like how they touch on almost every situation that you can think of that goes on in real life. So overall, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I think for me, I agree with all of you. I just thought it brought it back to friendship, that relationship. And I think that's what I liked, because the movies, were built on their lifelong friendships, and the series, the ups and downs, but they all came back together, even that, I was getting a little emotional, even in that final scene with, when Harper and Robin got into it, and, I was like, oh my God, how do you come back from this? But true friends you can always come back. And how they didn't have to say nothing. They just came to Harper's house, set up the table, got the food, because it was about true friendship, the power of friendship and that genuine love. And so, for me, I think I liked that it started and it ended with showing true relationships, through friendship. So I think that was a major high. There were other things, but at the end of the day, just really looking at the power of friendship, I think, was my highlight. So when we look at the storyline as a whole, from the movies to the series, what are we thinking about as far as like the bad? Like, what did you think they could tweak? This could be from the storyline, the direction, the character, the conflict resolution, when we really look at what was the bad, So I'll start with you, Tawana. What did you think was like the bad?
So the bad, I will go to I keep saying Terrence Howard, Quentin's father. I didn't like that because I felt like he was pushing his agenda, and it was like the whole family tradition, like, you have to carry out my family tradition. And then I felt like, what was her name? Ciamora was used, and she played into that because it was all about the fame for her, about the money or whatever. So I felt like she played right into it, but I felt like they were using him and forcing him to do something that he did not want to do. And then looking even at the conversation that he was having with his friends, and he was like, yeah, I'm in love. It's almost like he was convincing himself. He was like, I'm older now, look at, Lance and Mia's marriage, look at you and Robin. He went through everybody's situation to justify like why he was in the situation that he was in. And then when Shelby came in, and she was like, she don't even know you, and he tried to like justify it and uphold it. And it got to a point where he was just like, I can't do this anymore. So not that it was that part, it ended up turning into good, but I just felt like the bad part of it was it. And I think it hits home with me. It's like a personal thing, because like I'm at a place right now where I'm just over people trying to push their agenda on me. So when I saw that part, I was getting mad. I was like, he ain't gotta marry her. You don't have to do all this stuff if you don't really want to do it. But I think I was getting a little upset about that part, because I saw the hidden agendas behind the scenes, like his dad pushing him, like, we own all of these resorts, and she was just like there for it. But I just felt like it was just not real, and it was fake. So that part kind of got under my skin a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought with that whole scene in the Dominican with Zia Mora, I definitely thought it was over the top. I was like, what are we doing here? Y'all, I'm sorry. I know y'all could be like, really, Irene? I thought it was poorly shot. I was like, where are we at? Like, what's happening? I didn't like the camera angles or anything like that. So my least of the 8 would they were in the Dominican. Now I loves me some Nicole Ari Parker. I think
Absolutely.
she is beautiful. I thought she played the part, but my least favorite outside of Quentin and Shelby, that would be my least. I love them ultimately getting together. It's not realistic that you're gonna go find your ex, sleep with him, like strip for him, like all some of that stuff was a little hokey to me. But at the end of the day, I did like their character. I did like them being together, and they were my favorite character. But yeah, I have to agree with you on that. So what about you, Karen? What did you think was like bad?
I didn't like the whole timeline, as far as we started in 2024 in episode 1. And then it was like we went back to 2015. That lost me right there. I was like, 2015. Wait a minute, wasn't Best Man Holiday made in 2018? Why are we in 2015? So now I'm Googling. It's like, oh, that was made in 2013.
Right.
I get it. It's supposed to be, it really did not pick up because technically, if it ended in 2013, then I'm thinking, oh, I guess it took 2 years for them to get married. I'm trying to make it make sense because Best Man Holiday was in 2013. We're in 2015 and we're traveling to the DR for the wedding. So it took you 2 years,
right?
But neither here nor there. And then episode 2, we're still in 2015, but then they want to do like, we're going to hurry up in like 2 minutes and we're going to fast forward. We're going to show you what everybody is doing. Now we're in 2022. I'm like, I'm lost. Wait, what is going on? I had to watch that like 3 times. Like, what did we just do? What did we just do?
This is ugly, but I must insert it here to your point. They rushed it.
They did. They did.
They could have did final chapter. They could have did, final chapter act 1, 8 series. Final chapter act 2, 8.
Right.
They didn't have to do a 30-second speed up to get us.
Man.
Yes. I thought that Harper, if you go back, because I know Stephanie and I literally just watched the first Best Man. Didn't they live in Chicago?
They sure did. When did we come to New York?
Exactly. And I was saying the same thing, like y'all lived in Chicago. So now, like, it was just so many questions that was unanswered. So I agree with that timeline. I just felt like they rushed it. And anything I would say to the director, I don't know if it was budget. They could have been like, baby, we gonna give you this hot $50 million. You better pay your actors, your team, you never know what they could have said.
Make it enough. Yeah.
Make it enough. Exactly. And he was like, let's just shoot 8. Because now you got to think those actors and stuff, what they paid them back then to do Best Man, the original one, that's not their same check today.
Exactly.
But they say rates went up tomorrow. Rates went up tomorrow.
Right.
So that's probably what they were saying. Like, no, I need this and this. They had teams now. So you never know what the budget was. I'm surprised that it's sad that Peacock is a good channel. Why Netflix didn't get it? Like, it's the culture, it's the movie for the culture. So you just, I'm sure a lot of that stuff was budgetary, but here on that timeline, really, I had to go back like you to try to figure out where I was. I would have to say that was an ugly almost, but
even with the whole calendar, it was like July 2016, August 2018, December 2020. I said, wait, slow down. Just to get all the way to 2022. And now we're here.
Now, did the rest of them always live in New York? Because I remember Jordan used to work at BET in the first one. And I don't know why I assumed they were in DC.
No, I think Jordan always lived in. I think she always lived in New York. I think. No, wait, I think she might have been at BET, but then didn't she move to MSNBC? Like something with her career, like she was like.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. In the movie, where did she live? Where did they live?
I don't remember where what stuck out to me was they were vocal about they lived in Chicago in the first one.
Right.
And then when they went to do the movie, I mean, when they went to the wedding, no, I think that was in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait,
just didn't
Lance
realize
and
that-
Mia were in New York?
That's
They
what
live in New York. I thought they was in like Atlanta or something. Okay, I'm making it up. Maybe I'm making it up. That didn't look like New York as far as that big house, unless they were in a deep suburb somewhere of New York.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was really confusing when they did the timeline. I liked, let me say, editorially, like I liked it how they did it, like the shots and things like that, how they sped it up. I liked the look of it. But for character development and storyline, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I wanted more,
Yeah.
and I think it, like you said, because they stopped in certain years, they stopped because then they stopped at the pandemic, and I was like, Husband and Lucius, Quentin, and then they didn't do good. They were showing that they didn't do well in the hotel industry.
Right. And then they kind of focused on, or they highlighted Black Lives Matter and all of that or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you, Stephanie? What would you say would be your bad?
So before I say my bad, something you said made me think of another good. I like that this movie or this show reminded me kind of a Living Single vibe, where it highlighted friendship across genders, across like married couples with single people. So often, especially Black movies and Black TV shows, they show friend groups where it's all women, it's all men, or everybody's single. But I do like that this, gave like a Martin Living Single vibe, where everybody was in different situations of their lives, to show that married couples, single people, across genders can genuinely be like for real good friends.
Yeah.
Now the bad part. I feel like, as everybody said, it was rushed. I feel like everything came with a nice, neat bow too soon. So like all of these situations were resolved very quickly. And it was like, but no, that needs to play out some more. Like, I need Robin and Taye Diggs not to be such good friends so fast. I need to see how this, like, what's the growth? How is this going to play out with her? She took your whole baby to Ghana, and y'all like are besties right now.
And this is not. I'm too.
Baby, I'm sorry. I like the scene. I did. I think I liked the scene where everybody was cussing everybody out.
Man, that was the best. That was the best.
Because it's like, now we being honest.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the ghetto came out of Taye Diggs for real.
Right, because
it came out of him.
I sent you that what was it, Kiran? I sent you that Instagram.
Yes.
Taye Diggs is the whitest. He got Black though.
Yes, he did.
But that's real though. That's real though, because seeing that I just went through a divorce, it does get ugly. Like you can be the bestest friends, or you can be on the same level, or the coolest, whatever the case may be. I don't care. That was real, because and we just confirmed that they were all really good friends, and they went back to it. But in the heat of the moment, you get mad, and the thing about it, once those words come out, and I was like, I felt that when he was calling her, she was like, F you, and I was like, I'm like, well, say it then, okay? Because I felt every word. It was real. If it was no part of that movie that was real, that part was like, whoa. They just got into that character, because the emotions were high. You talking about taking somebody's baby away, and she loves her dad, right? And that's all she knows is like mom and dad, and his emotions was like up here, because he was good with all of the terms of the divorce up until
she says that part.
That part, he just lost.
Yeah,
like you said.
And I was I was glad he also called out Shelby because I was very confused of, ma'am, how did you tell this whole man that this is his daughter and we are not going to go back to this point to see how this plays out? You know, do we ever tell this girl what happens?
Right.
Like, you didn't get mad. You have missed out on 10 years. Yes, she was, you know, this was Uncle Quentin, but you missed out on 10 years of being a father, and nobody's going to say anything. So when Taye Diggs brought it up, it was like, finally, somebody said it.
But that's funny too, to your point. Another real part of the movie was that uncle part. How many times have we heard, oh yeah, this is your uncle?
Yeah.
Be friendship, because you know all of them were her uncle.
Yeah,
Harper, it was Uncle Harper, Uncle Murch, Uncle, you know. So
that was funny though. I was like, Uncle. Now, how does she go from calling him Uncle Quentin to
yeah? Well, wait a minute. Did Taye Diggs, did he call Robin an African booty scratcher? I know it wasn't booty scratcher, but it was African.
He said African something. He
went hard. And I loved it. Every minute of it. I like the anger in all the scenes because I wanted that real emotion, because like Stephanie said, it's like a lot of times the resolution happens so quick. And even with Murch and Candace, they would argue a little bit and then it'd be okay. And I'm like, wait.
But you know what? She did say something that caught my attention when they were when he called himself like going off, when she asked him to watch his own kids or whatever, because something came up for her and he tried to like raise up and she like checked him real good. I like the balance of the relationship. She was like, hold on, like let's not go too far. Kind of, you know, put it back in, because his character has always been like the mild mannered,
the chill one,
and he was finding himself and he was getting frustrated. And I think he even said everybody has their limit. And you know, he kind of started finding his and started being more vocal. But she was like, let's not go too far. Okay, bring it back in, sir.
But I'm sorry, I said he was the chill one. No, he's not chill.
You
he was no, not at all. He was always awkward. Like compared to me, compared to the other three guys, he was awkward. I think that's why he was upset when the movie came out, with how his character was played. It's like, but dude, that was you though. Like that's exactly how he was in the first movie. He was following up behind Shelby. It was whatever Shelby wanted. So now they have this movie that has come out, and his character is highlighted, and he's running up behind her and he's carrying her books, and he's upset. And his thing is like, did my friends really see me that way? Is that how you all saw me? But Harper was trying to explain to him, I didn't make the movie. I wrote the book. I had nothing to do with picking characters. I couldn't pick it, but I guess he couldn't like really see past that. I think that's where his limit was.
That was the one thing that I which is why I went back and watched the original. I kept trying to figure out, that's why you got to really look like, everybody seemed to have a lot of tension towards Harper, which I think that's why I was happy when he was cussing everybody out, because he was always trying to explain, and it was frustrating for me. I'm like, if you know anything about business, they're writing a movie. He's not going to get total creative control. We're gonna take this book and how we want to display it, we will. And that's why, as y'all have been to the movies, it'll say movie adapted from book.
Right.
You know, and that's even when people do autobiographies. You know, I've seen this, say, well, no, they had to make it, heighten it, make it better. I happened to take a class with the lady that Sister Act is based on, the nun. I took a music class from her at the Joint College of Bishops. And so when she said, after she taught, she goes, anybody have any questions? I want to know. I said, how exact was the movie? And she began to explain what was true, what wasn't. And she was saying, you know, they have creative license. And so during this whole part, when he was so scared about telling everybody about his book being a movie, everybody was getting mad at him. And I was just thinking to myself, he's trying to better his career. He doesn't want to hurt them. He remembers, I'm sure everybody was triggered from the fight that him and Lance had, because they kept going back to that. And nobody really wanted to revisit that. Lance didn't. It was too many memories, but he was just trying to elevate his career. So I think when Murch was getting upset, I could sympathize with him, but at the same time, I was like, come on now, you have to understand that he can't control this, and I felt like Quentin kept trying to be the mediator, but Quentin at the same time felt like Harper could control it and he couldn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There were certain things that when I was watching it, I kept saying, if anybody was the whipping post of the friends, I kept feeling like it was Harper.
Yeah.
Because it was at some point, everybody was mad at him, and I kept thinking, so I was like, what is he doing? Is he self-centered? Does he have his own agenda? Like, I just kept trying to go back to the heart of who his character was, I think. And a lot of what I'm feeling is like in the writing, I'm like, okay, who wrote this? Or when you look at these characters, you're looking for character development, character growth. And they did a good job with Quentin and with Shelby. I think they did a good job with Jordan, like you see the arc of her character. I think that when it came to Harper and Robin, I would have liked to see more. And of course, I did like Candace and Murch, just showing where they were and how they grown. I'm still not sure how I feel about the sexual harassment thing with the college.
Yeah.
Like, I think they threw that in there to touch on
the topic.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know where we're going.
Because they're trying to touch on every little thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even though with Harper, I just thought that his personality, or a part of his personality, is that he takes the high road out. Like he's okay with conflict, but if he can avoid it, he'll avoid it. So it's like, we'll agree to disagree. Like, okay, yep, that's what you want to do. Okay, cool. And then that's just like it. So he didn't seem like the combative type. When he and his wife, or he and Robin, when they would have conversation, they may, have little spiffs here, but it wasn't anything that had to be escalated. Even when it came to Lance, even from the first movie, he messed up. Hey, I messed up. I slept with her. I knew she was with you or whatever. Like, forgive me. You're going to have to forgive her. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive her. Marry her. You love her. So kind of always taking the high road out. Again, up until you try to take my check.
Yeah.
Everything else he let slide. I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to let it slide. Even after Lance told him, I think that might have been in episode 2. Yeah, it was episode 2 when they went to the hotel. And no. I can't remember where in episode 2 he asked him as far as about doing the movie. And Lance said, yeah, go ahead. Then he turned around and basically cursed him out when they were at the rehearsal dinner or whatever. He kind of went off on him. Oh, I'm sorry, not the rehearsal dinner, the ceremony as far as getting the ring or whatever. So he was confused, but he still took the high road out. The next time he saw him, he apologized. Harper apologized to him. And I'm thinking, for why?
But that's what I said. It was like, I felt like he always got the bad end of it. I felt like that. Like you said, he was always kind. He was always nice.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all this question about Harper being the best man. Do you guys think in the writing or when you watch it, like, how are we supposed to feel about him? Are we supposed to love Lance but not like him? Are we supposed to find, is it a balance? Like, what is it? Because it's almost like the tension was always between him and Lance.
But I think I'm sorry, you all can go ahead.
I think the way they set it up is that Harper, at least I felt Harper was supposed to be like the villain. Like he was supposed to be the one that we look to be like, Harper, it's your fault. But I feel like with the thing with Harper is, I do feel like he was a little selfish. That while Harper apologized and Harper was kind of like, I want to be up front. At the end of every single day, Harper was always going to do what Harper wanted to do. Now, yes, Harper was going to apologize. Yes, he was going to, present ideas to the group to get everybody's buy-in. But I think that's what Robin's issue with him was, that no matter what, you're always going to look out for yourself. So he was kind of sneaky in that way, that, he presented it that I'm always going to do what's best for the group, but he was always going to do what's best for him. And with just Morris Chestnut playing Lance, of course you were always going to side with Lance, because Morris Chestnut is fine. Like, that was a setup from the beginning, that no matter what, we were going to agree with what Lance said, because Morris Chestnut is fine, period. It was always going to happen that way.
I still remember that first scene in the movie when he walked in that club and they did that slow motion. I said, oh Lord, Mama saved Mama side, Mama side. I'm married. Mama saved Mama side, Mama side. He is fine, y'all. I definitely right. What y'all think about them having him just sleeping out with all the women?
So yeah, so
that was the grief. Go ahead.
I was just getting ready to say the same thing. I was like, that was another point they touched on. They touched on grief. And he just went ballistic. He just living his whole life in these streets, right? I'm like, oh my God. And the thing about that is, I went back to, I want to say the first episode where he was like the most religious, all that. I'm just saying.
I know
how they shifted that, because if you got this man who was the most religious, and made Harper get on his knee. Well, not made him, but eventually he got on his knees.
He made him get on his knees that first time. Yeah, he did.
But then when he was trying to win him over at the end, he's like, come on, let's pray, whatever. So it's like Harper looked up to him as being that. He was the only one in the movie that I remember even having that connection, right? That wanted having the relationship, the religious part. And then it's like, now they take this character who bought the religion and flipped it, and he just went crazy. Like, he didn't even want to go back to his house. So I was just like, oh my God, he just wasn't like nobody stood a chance. He was just giving it to everybody who wanted it.
Right.
I'm like,
but wasn't he a religious hoe in the first one? Because remember, that was the whole thing, that he was. Yeah. He was always a hoe that loved God. It's just that now he doesn't have a wife.
I didn't remember that one from the first one.
Yeah, from the first one. Yeah, he was. He was. That's why when Harper went to apologize to him, because remember, he called the wedding off. And when Harper went in to apologize to him, I forget, I think it was at the church or whatever. And Harper walked in the room and he was like, Lance, what did he say? Lance, let's pray. And he looked at him like, let's pray. Dude, because remember, Harper, he knows God, but he don't fool with him like that. Okay. So yeah, he had a relationship from the beginning. And I felt that they kind of highlighted it during the Best Man holidays, as far as his faith in God, and they were believing God for a miracle, that Mia was going to, I was about to say she was going to be saved, that Mia was going to be healed, all of that or whatever. And then we get to this. And it's like, God, where he at?
Right. That's how I was like.
Yeah. And I do believe that they try to play it out as this is how he dealt with his grief. Even the father, as far as Quentin's father, he had said like, oh, how you're handling things. And he said, getting a lot of boom. Yeah. And he said, oh, we all have our vices or whatever. But I don't know. I didn't like that turn either. Like, out of all the vices, that's what we doing here.
Right. But you know what I did just notice, because I did have to come home from work and watch it really quick again. So when I just saw that last part, when, at first with his son being, coming out and saying he's gay, he was just like, no, like God changed him. But at the end, when I think he went to Mia's grave and was talking to her, because he felt like if she was alive, she would have handled it so much more differently. He eventually turned it and said, God changed me. And I thought about that serenity prayer. It's like, when you can't control, because you can't, even if he beat his son or, put him out, whatever, you disown him, he's still
Mhm.
going to make the choice that he wants to make.
Right.
Right. And so his thing was, okay, God, I can't change him, but change me.
Mhm.
And his prayer totally changed. And to me, it was like he was getting back centered.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mhm.
No, I did like the resolution in him, you know, in him with the son.
Mhm.
Again, y'all, that was another agenda that they was pushing that I was just like, so now we're gonna do this. You know, why the baby can't be Lance Jr. and play football? Like, why? You know, I don't understand it. You
Or
know,
just a different career, you know.
I've
Okay,
been
yeah, you
happy
don't want to
with
do
that.
football. That's cool. That's cool. You want to get into TV, like, you know, like TT Jordan. That's fine. But yeah, they flipped it all the way. But
It had to touch. I felt like it had to touch on every, like, something that's like every single life issue.
Mhm.
yeah.
I wanted to know, did anybody ever tell Merch and Candace's daughter that LJ did not want her? Because it was very clear that baby girl had a crush on him.
Yes.
And I was like, so nobody's ever Candace and Merch's oldest daughter.
Oh, the one who suffered with like anxiety really bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, so nobody's ever gonna address this? Like she's mentioned it a few times now.
Yeah,
We're
and how
not, we're just gonna let it go.
She was really intimidated by Kennedy and all of that. Like, I wish, see, that's what I'm saying, Stephanie. Like, none of that was dealt with. I wish it would have been dealt with. I wish we would have been able to see how the kids would have formed their own relationship, which is why I said they rushed through it. They could have did a second season, a third. I mean, there's so many answers that we needed. So that's a good point, you know.
Yeah, because they really only focused on Lance Jr. And wait a minute, first of all, Lance and Mia have 4 children.
Right. You seen them at the ceremony. That's what I'm saying.
I thought it was 3. I thought they showed 3 of them. 4. I know they showed
and
the
one
girl,
of them used to be dark skinned. You remember the
Oh yeah, when she was the one that greeted them at the door. As far as the one Best Man Holiday, she took their coat. That's true. But I thought they only showed. Yeah, they had 4. Because wasn't it like Autumn? It was Lance Jr. It was Autumn. It was the boy. I can't think of what the light-skinned boy name was.
August, Faith, and Hope.
That's it. August, Faith, Hope, and Lance Jr.
So where were
they? I thought I saw 4 at the. I'm gonna have to look. See, I thought I saw 4, but I was thinking the same thing. Like they only focused on Lance Jr. and Faith. Like they didn't bring in the other. I kept saying, where are the kids?
Yeah.
They rushed through that.
They did. They really, really did.
And then see, even Candace's dissertation, why it was controversial. The lady walked up to the parent and said, I don't want my daughter or my kids to be around you. See, they left so many things like, okay, what is it about your dissertation that's so unconventional? Like, I just wanted to know more. And I just felt like we didn't get to know more. And I knew it was around, I'm gonna say marijuana or some sort of
the holistic way like of that, But even with that, like, why would they even know that? Why was that even public? Like she
the
had
daughter
even
said something.
Okay. Because I'm like, how would she even know? It wasn't. They knew she was in school, but that was about it.
I want to know more about
or you remember the girl was high New Year's, was it New Year's Eve?
Oh yeah, both of them were.
Both of them were high.
Yeah.
I wanted to know more about Merch's school, why they didn't really talk about it too much. Like it was, like I said, again, that was a part of that bad/ugly, where the timeline, everything was rushed, so many questions, it just tried to throw so much at us at one time, saying, oh, we're tying this up, we're not revisiting each character. And people like us that watched from the beginning, we fell in love with these characters, we felt like we knew them, and so now you've introduced all these other scenarios, and it's like, well, wait, we want more.
Right.
So I definitely agree. So what do we think was the ugly, like the worst? Like what did we walk away from? Like I just didn't like it.
I didn't like the beach. I'm team Robin. I really like Robin. I didn't like the beach scene, but let's talk about Robin a little bit. So I felt like from the beginning, if we go back to the first two movies, I felt like she came into an unfair situation with all these friends because she wasn't an original friend. Harper brought her into their circle.
Mhm.
I felt like he brought her in. He knew he had these feelings for this long term friend that he suppressed. But now, okay, they've been away from each other all these years. Now I have a girlfriend, so I'm bringing her into our circle, knowing I have these feelings. I felt like she came into an unfair circle anyway. And then, as
Mhm.
and I think even when he proposed to her, I felt like it was like he rushed thing because he proposed to her
Desperate.
at their wedding. I just
Mhm.
felt like something about him deep down inside needed something that she had. Not that he was really, really in love with her. I just felt like he needed something that she had. And when he opened up, Harper opened up with the best man, final chapters, he was talking about why people get married for different reasons. Some people get married because they're in love. Some people get married for this. I don't feel like he married her because he was in love with her. He needed what she had at that time. And then, as with not a lot of marriages, but some marriages, once you do it and you're in it, you just figure out how to make it work.
Mhm.
And I felt like that's what
Mhm.
their relationship was. So I'm Team Robin because I felt like she came into all of this like unfairly. Like it wasn't, he didn't really love her. He loved some parts of her, but
Mhm.
he brought her into that their mess. And then she kind of just was pro him. She supported him. Like she said, everything he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I had have watched the 8 episodes without watching the movies again, I would have liked Robin more. When
mm,
I first watched the movies, I liked Robin. But like as you grow, your view on people or things and situations change. So
Mhm.
watching the movies this time around, first 4 minutes of Robin in the first movie, I was like, I cannot stand her because I feel like Robin's issue is, or my issue with Robin is, as a grown woman, I need you to take responsibility for your feelings and be able to express how you feel despite whoever's around, despite whatever's going on, always being able to advocate for yourself. Because when it doesn't go your way, I can't blame anybody else
Mhm.
but me if I didn't advocate for myself. So
Mhm.
even watching those first movies, it's like, ma'am, you have been uncomfortable from the beginning and you have not said anything. You have not spoke up. And now we get to these, the 8 episodes, and you see her coming into her own, but I almost feel like you have established this way of life.
Right.
It is okay for you to speak up now to say, you know what, I'm not good with this anymore. But what is not okay for me is for you to blame other people for how you now feel.
Mhm.
Because you now feel this way, that's great. I'm glad you are seeing the light and I need you to leave. But you can't blame anybody else around you. So I was a little bit more on her side until she pulled a thing of now taking the baby to Ghana. And it was like, okay, that to me wasn't right in the place that you did it. That is a
Yeah.
discussion.
Mhm.
You are supposed to be co-parenting, and it's hard enough to co-parent in the same street.
Mhm.
But now you want to co-parent in different countries, on different continents. That is going to be much harder. Now,
Mhm.
because you are the mother, you, in a way, can do what you want to do because that's how many laws are set up for you.
Mhm.
But at least have a discussion. I'm glad that she came into her own. I just don't like the way she, I guess, came into her own or put
Mhm.
responsibilities on other people. So that's why
Mhm.
I can't be Team Robin because
Yeah.
she's a little bit too late for me. Like, ma'am,
Yeah.
first 4 minutes of the other movie,
Mhm.
you should have told him I'm wearing what I want to wear. We're too late now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think because I am a Sanaa Lathan fan, so I was like, I don't like her in this movie. Like you said, I don't like her in
Yeah.
every other movie, Love and Basketball, all just
Brown sugar.
I love her
Yeah.
character. I love
Yeah.
her as an actress, but this movie, she really did rub me the wrong way. Like with the
Yeah.
movies, I was like, oh my God, Sanaa, I can't with you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, this
Yeah.
Robin, I just did not, care for her. But something that was really that I did like in when it came to the friendships is when Jordan was telling Shelby what happened. And Shelby kind of checked her. She was like, I like her now. Because remember, Jordan and Shelby is in the friend group. Like they had
Right,
we
right.
dated back from college,
Mhm.
and so I think it just showed the growth that Robin didn't start out in the group as Candace didn't, but how they've grown to be in the group and a part of the friend group. And even though they wasn't,
Mhm.
OG from college. And so I did like that part that Shelby and Jordan were friends, but Shelby was able to say, but you wrong. She was like, I like Robin. So I did
Mhm.
like that part. I think that I have to agree 100% with Stephanie, with her, how they did her character development. I didn't really like, because then all of a sudden you found your voice. I knew I wasn't gonna like Robin again. And I tried to like her, like coming into the series. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give you another chance.
Mhm.
And then it was like when we got to the Dominican, I was like, yeah, Robin, no, I don't. So I just think that it's how they wrote her character. And like you said, it's like she came into her own, but it was like she came into her own. I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that she was saying about Harper. You're selfish, and maybe because like you, Tawana, I looked at a lot of things personally. Like I looked at my marriage,
Mhm.
so I took it outside the characters. Like I support Mitchell, but not to my detriment. Like
Mhm.
we only gonna go so far, and we're gonna have this conversation, but I'm gonna support you.
Mhm.
When it came to, like you said, from the first time, like what she's gonna wear to this series, moving in the house, she really didn't want to move into the house. I just think she should have found her voice a lot sooner. But you guys, the writing, how they wrote it, you wanted Harper and Jordan to be together. Like that's how they wanted it to be. And
Mhm.
so, I was one of those people. I would have put them together. I was like, y'all gonna have to put them together some way, somehow. Like,
Mhm.
why be around this person? You love them, they love you. You're saying you're each other's soulmates. I think that's what bothered me too, is like, but y'all still around each other and y'all trying to play like y'all good for being
Mhm.
friends, but you know that you
Mhm.
really love her
Mhm.
and you really love him.
Mhm.
Like that bothered me because anytime they was in the same room or around each other from movie 1, movie 2 to this, you could feel their level of love and respect for each other.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even did you
And
all
it's
see how
funny. Oh,
no, did you all see how 4 of the characters' relationship were 2 and 2, how their relationships kind of evolved. So with Robin and Jordan, all of a sudden they like each other. Like we're cool now. And then even with Shelby and Candace, like they literally had a knockdown
This
fight
fight,
on Best Man Holiday. Yes,
Mhm.
Shelby apologized. She was like, sorry, or whatever. And she gave a check for like $1 million they needed for like their school or whatever. But now they're good. Like you're coming in to their room and you saying, help me get this dance together in so many words so I can seduce seduce Quentin or whatever. And it's like, y'all friends? Oh, duh. It's been 7 years. They should
and
be
I don't want
friends.
your man no more.
right?
Yeah.
She don't want right, but you
Yeah.
noticed that when she came in, she yelled out for Merch before she yelled out, and she goes, "Oh, sorry, it's habit." I was like, what? When she yelled out Merch, and she goes, "Oh, bad habit." Quentin was like, "Oh
Oh my God.
my God."
I was going to
Yes.
say before, like on the Robin topic, this is my last Robin comment. When I think about it, I liked Robin as a businesswoman. I liked Robin as a mother. I liked Robin as a friend. I didn't like Robin as a wife. It almost felt like the different aspects of her, different people wrote those parts of her.
Yeah.
So one person was writing her as a wife, while one person was writing her as a businesswoman, as an activist. And those things to me did not go well together. Like it looking at it, this could not have been the same
Right.
person. I know we have many sides, but who she was as a wife, it's like if I saw her in business, it's like this isn't the same person.
Right,
So I
right.
did like Robin in most aspects. I did not like Robin in her role as a wife.
Yeah, or being
Too
an
hard, I should
activist.
say.
Or being an activist.
Very
Like
true, because she
you
wasn't very
literally
good
are
at it.
going to take your daughter out there. Like, what type of mother are you?
That part I didn't like, but I liked her as a wife. I liked her only because of the way she came into the circle, right?
Mhm,
She came, and I think that she was the type of wife that was like so in love with her husband that just wanted to
mhm,
support him all the way through. So she basically
mhm.
took everything that came along with him
Yeah.
because she supported him. That's how I see her, and that's how I was like,
But was it because she loved him or she really wanted to be married?
it could have been both, but
Mm.
whatever it was. And I think they, to that extent, they may have both been, using each other for what they needed them for at the time.
I
Mm.
think she loved him. I do. I think
Yeah.
she loved him. I think she wanted the best for him, but I think she wanted that to be reciprocated, as far
Yeah.
as,
Yeah.
I want you to want the best for me. Just like I push you, I need you to push me, or whatever. And I guess she felt she wasn't receiving that. I thought she was, because even in, I don't know, episode 1 or 2, when she was in the kitchen and she was cooking and she said she was preparing like 3,000 different orders. And he's like, wow, this is your business is really flourishing or whatever. And then he's like, but I still think you need help. To me, that's still pushing you. He's
Mhm.
not saying don't do it. He didn't say bring it down. He didn't say you need to cut it to 1,500 orders. He
Oh,
said, no, you need to get you some help. I'm thinking to
Mhm.
expand your business. It's not a control thing. I'm trying to give you advice on
right.
how you can expand things. And even with
Even
this,
later.
right.
Go
And even with the situation as far as with her taking her daughter out, when they were marching or whatever, and the police came and all of that, her thing to him was, you're not going to control me. That's not a control thing. That is my child.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
had my whole kid out there with you on the streets and y'all got arrested. No, that's not a control thing. Let's be sensible here.
And it
So,
really
I think
shows
with her and him,
mhm,
with her and him, they both wanted support, but I feel like they wanted support the way they wanted support.
right.
yeah,
So like,
yeah,
I want you to support me in the way that I want you.
yeah,
Don't think about it on your own. Just do it the way that I want you to
yeah,
do it. And for both of them, it's like, that's not going to work. He can only support you how he can support you. She can only support you how she can support you.
yeah,
So I think that's where they bump heads.
Yeah,
And
I
their
agree.
communication style and their love language was different. And it showed a lot of marriages are that way because, to your point, Kieran, Harper was very supportive. Even when they got into it, he goes, I did this for you, I did that, you
yeah,
said to do this,
Yeah.
I did that, because that's the way he felt like
Mhm.
he needed to show support.
Right.
Whereas she felt like she needed to show support. Well, I'm gonna go to your movie premiere, then I'm gonna dip off and I'm
Right.
gonna go here. Like, they were showing it the way they knew how, but their
Mhm.
communication styles were so different.
Yeah, yeah,
And I did like
Mhm.
that he saw that she supported him, left his party, went to her events. But this is what I mean when I say his heart was still with Jordan, because even when him and Jordan was alone, they were walking and talking, you could feel the chemistry. You
yeah.
did not feel that chemistry with him and Robin
Right, right.
at
Mhm.
all. And they had nice pleasantries, nice conversations. They
Mhm.
had a sex scene. What was that in episode 1?
Mhm.
But when he got with Jordan and they did that walk and they was doing that flashback,
Mhm.
you begin to see Jordan pour out her heart. You saw Harper pour out
Mhm.
his heart. Then whatever they had from college, the rubber band things, whatever that was,
Yeah.
like, it was just showing like this is where it started, like our love for each other. And then of course they kissed again. And I think, and I know that's what they wanted. I don't like, I don't, me, to outside of the movie and everything, I don't feel like it's fair, or I wouldn't want to yearn to have somebody and I can't have them. Like, I'm
Right,
gonna marry you, but I really love you.
right,
Like,
right.
no, and we're gonna be in the same circle of friends.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
that's what bothered me. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't like this. Just be with Jordan.
Right,
Like,
and Jordan.
Mhm.
I didn't like it because you knew
Mhm.
that Jordan couldn't even date this guy.
Brian McDonald.
because she really loved Harper. So, but I did
Right.
like their resolution when she said, we're not gonna date right now. You know, I liked her resolution. You know, give yourself some time, but they left it open-ended.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I thought that Jordan was kind of controlling. I felt that that's why it wasn't going to work for them. Like from the first movie, like she was controlling. She wanted to tell him, you know, as far as with his book, you know, or whatever. She wanted to tell him, I guess, you know, not really how to promote it, but oh, just tell Lance this, or just tell him that, you know, this is your career, that type of thing. So she was a little bit controlling, or more aggressive, I guess I can say, more aggressive than him. He didn't need anybody to be aggressive. Like that's what they're.
See, I thought he liked that. I thought he liked her aggressiveness. I thought it was more like his friends, because his friends were saying, were the ones kind of pushing, like, you know, Jordan only care about her career. You know, she's like a go-getter. So I felt like he was kind of listening to them, like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. Whereas he would have went along with it, but to have your guy say like, nah, dude, you know, leave that alone type of thing. I think that's where he was looking more so. And he was looking, I think, in the movies to Mia as a reflection. Like, oh, well, I want a wife like Mia. Mia is, you know, I don't want to say she's a homebody, but she kind of seemed like, you know, a home person. And he saw that reflection because, you know, when they went back to the forehead kisses and their relationship, I think for a wife, that's what he was looking for. Somebody like that versus this career person that Jordan was.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you guys think about, now this is going back to the first and second movie, even in the series, I feel like they made Mia so angelic and no one really held her accountable for sleeping with Harper. Now in Best Man Holiday, she said it to Lance, you're really mad at me. Like you're taking it out on Harper, but I chose him to sleep with him.
Yeah.
They never addressed it. Mia was an angel. She was a saint, you know, and no one ever addressed her. Even when Lance was mad and beat up Harper and he was crying and all this, he still never really addressed her.
Because that was his angel.
Why? Why do you think that? Do you think that he just didn't want to do it? I mean, why do you think they put her on a pedestal in all the movies?
Yeah, I really don't know. I just think that he was like so in love with her, and that was just like his soulmate, his like nothing. And you can actually tell that through his grieving process, right? He didn't want to go back to the home because I think he was telling the guys when they came to check on him, he's like, she's in the clothes, she's in this room, she's there. She was he had made her his everything. So I think that's more of what it was about more than anything.
And then maybe just to keep. Oh, go ahead, Steph. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny because you're right. Lance wasn't the only one that put her on the pedestal. Like they all kind of, you know, saw her as like this otherly being that she was untouchable. She was, you know, so good, so whole. I guess because she was the one who it seemed like really held the friend group together, but nobody ever really acknowledged her human side. Like she was clearly friends with Shelby. So there was something about her.
They were sorority sisters.
Right, yeah.
I know, but they were still friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, if that's your friend, to me, you're a reflection of everybody you hang with. So if you hung with Shelby, then there was something else in you that wasn't so much of an angel, but everybody did hold her like up really high. Maybe because they knew that she was gonna die. I don't know.
Oh
like,
my God.
I just thought, even in the first Best Man, she just floated around and her voice was so, to me, she's still an old girl from Players Club. No, I'm joking.
Ebony.
Joking. But I'm just saying, I was just thinking about that, like, wow, you know, Monica Calhoun got the angel edit in this particular series, but I was just thinking it was something that I thought about. But what I loved in Best Man Holiday is that she did take accountability. Like she said, "Oh, I did this." So
yeah,
but we want to wrap this up. I could talk about movies like this all day, as y'all know. And one of the things that I brought out before we started recording is something that I noticed, and for you guys out there too. If you notice that it was like a lot of the episodes was different. Some of them had different writers and different directors. And so, when people direct or when they write, you write and direct really from your own perspective and your eyes and your vision. And so some of the things that we might have liked or different or did not like, I think it's because it wasn't like one cohesive director. Although Malcolm Lee did oversee the project, did write a lot. He wrote the original characters. He was on board to make sure that things went a certain way. He allowed other people to the opportunity to direct. And if y'all didn't know, Malcolm Lee is Spike Lee's cousin. So that is a fun fact. Fun movie fact. He is and that he used to live here in Chicago, which is why I think they paid like homage to Harper living here, because Malcolm Lee did used to live here. I'm not sure if he still lives here, but I know that he used to live here. And when they did the original Best Man movie, they actually did a movie premiere in 1999 here, because I went to it, and all the actors that was in it, they came and they did a big movie premiere downtown. So I think that's why I kind of have a special place in my heart for the movie. So let's give a rating. Overall, what do you think if we was gonna rate the series? Take the movies out because we'll make them higher, but just the series alone. So Tawana, what would you rate Best Man Final Chapters 1 to 10?
I'd probably give it a 7.
7?
I give it a 7.
That's pretty solid. 7. Okay. What would you give it, Stephanie?
I would give it an 8. I mean, I liked it. It had its flaws, but I think it was a good watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right. I would give it an 8, 8.5. I really did enjoy it overall. I just wish it was a little bit more, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna toss it to you, Lady K. What do you give it?
I think I would give it a 8. I probably would have given it an 8.5, maybe a 9. Some of the issues that they were trying to press and that they had given a lot of time to in the movie. I know it has to do a lot with the society that we're living in now, and they want to make sure that they're politically correct and all of that. But yeah, some of that time could have been used for other subjects. That's just my opinion here. But other than that, I do believe that the Best Man Final Chapter was awesome. We have been waiting since, again, I thought 2018, but since 2013, we have been waiting for this to come out. And I feel that they did not disappoint. It had its highs, it had its lows. It talked about a lot of different topics and things that we are going through, grief to marriage issues, to being single, careers, blended families, all of that. It gave a little bit here and a little bit there. And I do believe they did a really, really good job. So those of you all who have not watched The Best Man Final Chapter, please go ahead, catch it on Peacock. You can actually binge watch it. It's not a weekly episode. All 8 episodes are there. And as my co-hosts have said, I do believe you should go back and watch Best Man and also Best Man Holiday, just to kind of bring you up to date before you dive into the final chapter. What I'm going to do is actually go back and watch this series again, because I missed a few things. Just sitting here having a conversation. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what they talk about? I don't remember that part right there. So I need to go back and actually watch it again. So I may be adding this to my yearly list, my yearly watch, because I do watch Best Man Holiday every single year, probably since 2014. I've watched it every single year, so I'll probably be doing the same thing with this one as well. So to all of our besties out there, those of you all have joined us, again, we just want to say we love you. We thank you all for your support. But before we get off, I just want to see, does anybody else have anything to say to add on? Miss Tawana?
Now, one other thing I just wanted to talk. I wanted to highlight their friendship and their passion.
Yes.
So they all tapped into and eventually found what they were passionate about.
That's true. That's true.
That part.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
I wanted, and I thought that was really, really important. Out of all the things that they tried to throw in and, you know, give us, they did eventually ultimately find what they were most passionate about. They found their thing, and I think that's important.
That's good.
That is important. Yeah,
That's
they did
good.
all find what they were passionate about. You know, and you made me think about something else, Tawana, how when they found their passion, but Shelby finally accepted that she was getting older. So
Yes.
that ageism thing,
Yep.
because she was always the young, hot, pretty, rich. So she came in and helped Jordan's when Jordan needed it on the show. And then she realized that, you know, the next hot thing was coming behind her and she was taking all these supplements. But, you know, and Quentin having the heart attack, you know, it wasn't a major, but it showed like, hey, y'all, we're not in our 20s, like in the original Best Man, you know, they accepted the age that they were at, like you said, and they found their passion, but they always came back to their friendship. I love that. So yeah, that was good. I'm glad that you made me remember. I was thinking about that, how they had to come to terms with certain issues in life.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
So did you want to add anything else on though, Irene? Any last minute? Final review?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, just I'm happy that they did this series, just you know, for the culture. I think Best Man is a cult classic, as well as Best Man Holiday. I think showing us where these characters would be today. I think these are people that we fell in love with. We felt like we know them. And I think that's why it was so comfortable to watch, because it's like, oh, I know Harper, I know Robin, I know Jordan, I know, you know, and it's like they're your friends. And then watching them grow, because like how they've gotten older, we've gotten older. So I think that it was a good thing. Whoever greenlit this, I thought, you know, I think that they did a good job. I'm happy that they let us experience this closeout. You know, I wish it wasn't a closeout, but at least, you know, we wasn't left hanging after Mia passed. And, you know, like Stephanie said, you have to cry, you know, Lance is laying on the grave and
man, every year.
You know, and you cry, right? It's like, okay, what happened after that? So, you know, I'm glad that they did it for the culture. So overall, I thought it was, you know, really good, and I'm happy, and I would love to see more Black programming like this. Where's Girlfriends? Where's that movie? Like, you know, where's Living Single? I mean, come on, you know, I'm in Hollywood to do better with these, you know, Black shows now. I need a Girlfriends reunion. I need a Girlfriends movie. I need a Sex and the City. I just need that. So yeah.
Steph?
No, I'm just glad that they did this while all the main characters are still here with us. And it was good to see our Black characters aging gracefully. All of them still looked good in their roles. Yes,
just
they're visibly,
few touch-ups here and there.
Right. I was gonna say they're visibly older, but it was good to see that, you know, they still look good, because it could have been worse, but God has been good to all of them. So.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. I agree as far as with that. They all do look good. From Morris Chestnut Tay Diggs, yes. All of them, the women, Merge, yeah, right. Terrence Howard, everybody looks good, for real. They do. I know Irene and I, we were talking, this is a couple of weeks ago, like right after it came out. I was like, did you notice, some of them had, they had gotten
Breast
touched up right up top, right up in here. They got touched, right in here. I'm like, they weren't like that in Best Man. Noah Best Man Holiday. They weren't sitting up here like that.
They weren't high lifted.
They wasn't high and lifted up. No, they wasn't.
No.
But they
no.
still look good. I
Mhm.
applaud
Mhm.
all of them. I applaud Michael Lee, Robert Townsend, and all the other directors that Irene said was working on there. I applaud every single one of them. They did an awesome, awesome job. Thank you all. So, besties out there, again, thank you all for joining us. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of the Bestie Advice. And until we see you again, good night, besties.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.